let me introduce you to a chap that I've known a little while, haven't I?
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah, quite a few years. It's Paul Meade. He is the manager of the under-23s. So you've been involved in football for a long, long while, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
I'm actually the coach of the Margate under-23s. Salim is the manager, but we have a nice, strong management team there. But yeah, no, I've started off leaving school at 16 and signing for Margate itself, so going back there now, 40 odd years later is a nice challenge.
Yeah, I bet it is as well. Yeah. There's a lots of talk about what could be happening at Margate, what might be happening at Margate. But me and you used to go out Sunday morning with the boys, didn't we? My boy and your boy, and sometimes run the line and get stick off the families. But so you obviously, when I think one of the last times I saw you was involved with Dover as well.
Yeah, I was under-18s coach at Dover about 6-7 years ago, and then I ended up being assistant head of youth development with my head of youth development, then Chris Lynch, who is still there and is doing a great job with their youth section. And then I moved on to Ramsgate because, unfortunately, with Dover Athletic, there was no progression from the under-18s.
Yeah.
There was no stop in between to the first team, and that's a huge jump for any young player to go straight from there into a conference side.
Oh yeah,
And then I was asked to go to Ramsgate and be father figure to
Dad.
their 23s. Yeah, as like player liaison officer between them and the first team when Matt Longhurst was the manager there.
Yeah.
And their 23s didn't really go the way that they wanted it to. And that's where now I'm back all these years later at Margate, so with the 23s. So I'm really enjoying it as well. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because you've always been quite passionate about your football, and again, you support a fantastic Premier League team as well, don't you?
I certainly do.
Who do you support?
Tottenham Hotspur.
Dave, there's two of us.
No?
Don't be like that. Don't be like. Oh, don't worry about asking him who he supports. It's not worth wasting.
Nothing wrong with Birmingham City. Well, at least we're not glory hunters like Tottenham and, well, I was going to say Arsenal, but they got beat.
Stop it, Dave. It's not fair. I'm going to come back and talk with Paul. Been having a bit of a chat while the music's been playing, and just me trying to get a bit of a heads up as to what goes on. So there's the three of you. You said there's you, Salim,
and Chris Mills.
So what's the structure? Obviously, you got the under-23s. Obviously, you've got the kids that come out of school, want to play football, want to be the next Messi and everything else, and they get into what I call grassroots football. So what's the protocol? Where do they...
well, there's a very good, obviously, youth section at Margate.
Yeah.
And, then there's some great coaches in there, and they've given up their time to allow the children to develop. And then, but my input is when they get to 18 and they've finished in their Kent Youth League football, then some clubs, there's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
So what we're doing at Margate is we're allowing them the opportunity to be involved with the 23s. When they get, even before they've finished at 18, they come and train in with us, and we're just trying to give them that experience and what the expectations of it's like to try and commit yourself and nail down a position in a first team, and it's not easy.
I think it's quite daunting.
Not easy. It's not easy to get into, obviously, say Margate first team, but also we have players where we push them on to gain that experience with other adult teams. In the Scaffold League and the Kent County League with like Minster and Woodensborough Football Club, we've got players out there who are doing really well, and it's the youngsters that we don't want them lost. They can start at 7, come all the way through to 18, and then with so many other distractions nowadays as well, they drift away. And there are some very good 16, 17, 18-year-old players.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've got some of them within our 23s.
That's good. That's good. So, yes, it must be a very rewarding job for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because just seeing them coming through the ranks and then, under 23s, and then into probably the first team and then move on from there. So
yeah, well, I came in last year with when Paul Lamb was the actual under 23s manager.
Yeah,
I think I was there for 4 games and we won the cup final.
Oh, good.
So that was nice. That was a nice experience for them.
Yeah.
And so far at the moment we're like 3rd in the league, and also we're in the quarterfinals of the same cup that we won last year. So hopefully we can progress again from that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So we're back with Paul. We was talking about the progression side of things and bits and pieces. So, I'm pretty new. All I ever used to do was run up and down the line with a flag in my hand, pointing it to the players to say they're offside. So,
I think it's really important that, like I say, when these children finish their football at 18, there's more to their football. There's more to their progression than just playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's more. There's got to be. This is from our point of view. There has to be like more of a professionalism. The attitude has got to be spot on.
Yeah.
And if they're going to make a first team anywhere, they need to understand that those are the expectations. And they're just a couple of examples, but it's just something as simple as like where some of these players are playing Sunday.
Yeah.
And then, because all of our games for the 23s are midweek, and if they're an away game, they're not all on the same day. Our home games are all on Tuesday nights.
Okay, yeah.
Barring whether the first team's playing. But if you've got a game on the Monday and you played on the Sunday, and if they're turning up with dirty boots, that's not acceptable.
Right.
So these are things that might seem quite trivial, but is important.
Yeah, that's right.
To their development and their attitude, and that's the professional attitude that we're trying to instill in them.
Yeah.
Which will then push them onto the first team. Because if you turned up at Margate first team with some dirty boots, I'm pretty sure Ben and Reece would have a word to say.
I'm pretty sure there'd be a few words flying around the change rooms. Yeah, because I know you was involved with Dover Academy, and all the players that were there used to turn up in suits. And is that right? Is that correct?
The academy players is the vocational side of it. That's the educational side of things.
Yeah.
And that's run by Mike Sandman.
Right.
Who's done a fantastic job there, without a doubt. So when we was at the 18s, they had their own Dover polos and trousers that they turned up with, which was sort of unheard of with an under-18s Kent Youth League team. But even then, you're putting them in, they turned up with shoes, trousers, shirts.
Yeah.
So, you're just trying to set that.
Set the standards.
Set the standards, absolutely. That standards, that professionalism, even though they're not obviously professional players, they still need to understand that to get there, these are the basics that you're going to require. Yeah,
you need, obviously you want respect, they want respect, so you've got to show each other respect. And I totally get that, and that is, I do, but that is a good standard. That is really good. Mike Salmon, he was at Margate, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do believe, just ring the bells. Every now and again it comes back to me. Yeah. I know I'm getting old and going
great.
Avid
fan you are.
Aren't they? So, and as you say, you need to set those strict guidelines and stick to them. So
yeah, because what they're getting outside of football.
Yeah.
If that's not really working for them and being in the positive, then they need to take that into
consideration. Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, we're going to Paul, back with you. Now, you sure you're done, Dave? Yeah. Yeah,
go on, carry on.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, so we're back with you, Paul, for our final leg of the chat. So,
Luton 1, Stoke 0.
See what I mean? I'm going to bring his fade. His fade is coming down. It's just me and you now. Right. No, you're back up, Dave, so be careful. No, he wants me to put it down. Right, okay. So, no, we're back with you and like a brief chat with Charlie, your son, because I know he was doing well, and you saying how difficult it is to coach your son, and it must be frustrating at times, I'll take it. But
yeah, very much so. I mean, I've always, throughout his youth football, I've steered clear of being involved in any team that he's been in as coach. And now I find myself through circumstances that I'm now coaching him at 21. Right. So it's still a challenge as
really?
father's son.
Well, he's only 21 then. They're no problem at that age, are they?
No problem at all. No, of course they're not.
So yeah, but
he's found out the same as what I did when I was 16.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get into that first team. The important. We're going to give all of the players in our 23s and at the club the opportunity to try and progress into a first team. Some have got in first team, some have had that experience in the past, and that's the easy bit.
Yeah.
You know, you work really hard, you get there, and then you think, I've made it, but it's not. The most difficult part is to keep saying to the manager, you're going to pick me next week, you've got to pick me next week, and the only way you can do that is by being consistent in your performances.
Yeah.
But you also have to have that mindset of training. And I remember reading an article, I think it was Dennis Lilly, the famous bowler, the fast bowler, that every time he went out onto the training pitch or in the nets, he looked at it as an opportunity to improve.
Yeah.
And and if you can have that mentality, because sometimes you're going to end up coming to a training session, there might not be as many players there as you think. Suddenly you're on a bit of a negative attitude.
Yeah.
But you've got to look at it then as like an individual. This is what I'm here for. This is what I want to do. I'm going to train. I'm going to train hard. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to put my performances in, and I'm going to be knocking on doors of first team management.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've always had it drummed into you're only as good as your last job, and it must go through training and everything else. So you just got to have that mentality in there if you want to succeed. So, So when's your cup final?
Well, the quarter-final we've got is away to Stansfield Football Club, which I think is up near Chislehurst. I think that's on the 3rd of March.
Well, you have to keep us updated with that, definitely. If anyone wants to get hold of you, Paul, for training, have you got an email address?
Yeah, they can get hold of me on pmeade43@icloud.com.
Brilliant. Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity. And, hopefully, we've managed to cover a few things that actually happens at the club.
Good.
And I'm hoping that we can now push on with the club. We've got the 2 new first team managers in there.
Yeah.
And, let's hope we can succeed. And they're looking for another win today.
Brilliant.
It'll be good for them.
Good.
So we'll see where we go at the end of the season.
Happy days. Stay in touch. Both got each other's numbers, text, and everything else. Anything else you want to come on and talk about? Local radio station, helping local football clubs, local sports. So it's been an absolute pleasure, Paul.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks a lot for having us, Phil.
That's right, mate.
Dave. Thank you.